Hi, everyone. In this short video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the types of fair division games that we have. And I wanted to look at that sort of silly example I gave last video. So in the last video, I said I had three assets. So my set S of assets consisted of these three assets, the Swedish meatballs, uh, or meatball, pardon me, and then broccoli and an apple. And now this system, the way I was referring to it and the way I was considering fair divisions or fair shares, was what's known as a discrete system. So the fair division type. So this is a discrete type. Sorry me. So now, what makes it discrete in mathematical terms is what I was saying about I refuse to cut my Swedish meatball. I refuse to cut up the apple. I'm not going to divide any of these assets. It's either all or nothing with every single one of these assets. So I'm going to give one child one of those food items and the other child another one. That's how I'm going to divide it. So discrete means you can't kind of subdivide one of the assets. And maybe that makes most sense if you're thinking not about a dinner like this, but maybe you're thinking about, I don't know, like giving giving an inheritance away. So let's say you have um, uh, property that you want to distribute, and you have a computer, and you have a car, and you have some, a ring, like a diamond ring, and you're trying to give these away. Well, you're not going to, while I could maybe, if I wasn't so stubborn, uh, cut a Swedish meatball, I'm not going to take a knife and cut a computer in half, or, a chainsaw and cut a car in half, or take the diamond off the ring and then sell one part for one. So discrete types are more like indivisible assets that you generally, or assets that you refuse to divide. And they're just sort of in chunks, in discrete bits. Now, you could go over to the other extreme and say, no, I want to be able to completely divide my pool of assets in any possible way that I want. And so, if you're not looking at the discrete type, you could be looking at a continuous type. And so what are some good examples of assets that would be able to be divided in such a way? Well, you could really look at like something like a Swedish meatball, or you could oftentimes look at something like a cake. So you have, uh, some kids and you want to give cake to two, to three of the kids. How do you slice that cake up? There's a lot of different ways to do it. What's the right way of slicing that cake, or one of the right ways of slicing that cake and giving a fair share to each of the kids. So a cake is an example. I mean, a lot of sort of food items are examples, um, but you can consider even just money. Money is a little discrete, but you could kind of think of it as something that if you had a bunch of money, there's a lot of different ways that you can sort of divide it up. Maybe it's not completely continuous, but it's closer to continuous. Um, but anything where you could sort of break away a certain amount, and that has a continuous amount. Then there's this mixed type. And a mixed type would be, I think, probably the best thing to use in my example, in that I could say, well, I have one piece of broccoli, let's say, but my apple can be cut up, and I have two Swedish meatballs or something like that. And so then the apple becomes sort of a continuous asset. The meatball, if I'm willing to cut it up, or cut up one of the two, or maybe both, become continuous. Broccoli is discrete. It's only one piece, and I just, why would you ever cut a piece of broccoli up? That would be madness. So All right. So this is the idea of the different types of fair division games. And we'll see that some fair division methods are geared towards one type versus another. And we'll get into that in the next video.